Welcome to I Feel Fat Today. I'm your host, Kelly Taylor. Thank you so much for joining. As always, please remember, go to our YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in I Feel Fat Today or I Feel Fat Today podcast, and please subscribe. It means a lot to me. It would be doing me a solid, and it is nothing for you to do. It's totally free and takes 30 seconds of your time, and I sincerely appreciate that. So subscribe to our YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram at I Feel Fat Today, and you can follow me, Kelly Taylor, at Instagram at Hello, This is Kelly. Okay, and on with the show. So we have a really great guest this week. I'm super excited to get into it, but first, I came across a video on TikTok, as I often do, and this is not the first of this kind that I have seen on TikTok. I've come across this many times, but for some reason this one struck me, and I thought I want to talk about this on the podcast. So I'm going to play a little video. So we're going to watch that, and then we're going to get into this week's topic before our guest. All right, here we go.
If this video has found you right now, then this is no coincidence, because the universe has sent me to you during this time to help you with weight loss and to help speed up your metabolism. If you accept this energy healing today, then all you need to do is simply nod or say I accept. Let's begin. I would like to call in your spirit team and the guardian angels to come on through to you to help to speed up your metabolism. I will now proceed to pull out and remove any type of excess energy that might be within your vessel that does not need to be there, so it can assist you with losing weight. Please take a deep breath in and out. I am now sealing off this Reiki healing energy to shift you into a higher vibrational frequency. May any excess energy leave your vessel. Feel free to come back to this video as many times as you need. Your metabolism is now speeding up. And so it is.
All right, so that was a Reiki session. Not a session. That was a video from TikTok from this guy. It looks like his name is Healing and Beyond. I'll link it in the video. Reiki, I want to talk about Reiki. I think Reiki is really cool. I really enjoy the way it makes me feel. I can't explain it. It gives me like weird butterflies, and I don't know. I like the energy of Reiki. I've never gone to like an in-person sort of session. But when I had COVID back in July, forever ago, almost coming up on a year now, I couldn't do anything. And for some reason on my TikTok lives, there were just like a lot of Reiki sessions that were popping up, and I would just sit and listen. And like I don't know what, I found relief from these Reiki sessions. So I come across a lot of these videos about Reiki for weight loss. I like hopping onto a live where someone is giving Reiki healing on TikTok live and just listening to that as I fall asleep some nights. So I wanted to talk about, can Reiki help you lose weight? Can it lead to weight loss? So first, what we need to talk about is, what is Reiki? So there's a lot of information online about it, but in short, Reiki involves placing the hands lightly on the body or just off of it in order to transmit universal life energy. The goal of the practice is to create relaxation, promote healing, and reduce pain. This is from everydayhealth.com. Very reputable source. I have no idea. Kelsey Patel, a Los Angeles-based wellness and Reiki expert, says Reiki can help with physical pain and can promote balance. It might go on to help reduce anxiety, overwhelm, or stress, she says. I can also recommend it for people who simply want to become more connected with themselves or call in deeper alignment, joy, and abundance. Reiki sessions are typically 1 hour and are done on a massage table, sometimes in your own home. Patel says, you'll likely lay down with your clothes on and your shoes off. The practitioner typically won't touch any part of your body except for your head and feet. Patel says, I always recommend wearing socks and comfortable clothing so you can really relax. Okay, so that's from Everyday Health. I then found a website called International Associations of Reiki Professionals.org. It's .org. So that means it's like 100% true or something. That's what I was taught in computer science class in the, 9th grade. Okay. So on their website, they have a page called Reiki for Weight Loss. And what I find most funny about this is that it starts off with a paragraph that's titled, Can Reiki Help with Weight Loss? And it just goes into obesity being a serious problem and like the sort of risk factors that are associated with obesity. And then the very last sentence, the only thing that pertains to Reiki at all, says, fortunately, according to reports by respected doctors and clients alike, Reiki may have the power to aid in weight loss. I don't know. Have I listened to multiple Reiki for weight loss videos on TikTok? Of course I have. All right. And then the page goes on to talk more about the dangers of obesity, factors contributing to obesity, and then finally it gets to how Reiki can help. Regardless of the exact cause of a client's obesity, Reiki may may be beneficial as a weight loss aid. Some of the ways in which Reiki may help with weight loss are detailed below. Reiki improves balance and well-being. When clients undergo Reiki treatments, they often report feeling more balanced and both physically and emotionally. Clients who are actively trying to lose weight may be more likely to stick to their weight loss plans if their sense of balance is restored. In addition, they may experience fewer negative mental effects of carrying extra weight, such as depression. Reiki reduces stress. One of the primary uses of Reiki involves the reduction of stress. Stress is a common problem experienced by a significant portion of the population. Because stress has been shown to increase cortisol levels and contribute to weight gain, it stands to reason that reducing stress could be beneficial for clients who are trying to lose weight. Reiki may improve sleep patterns. Reiki sessions may be helpful to clients who have gained some weight because they aren't sleeping well. Because Reiki may reduce stress and contribute to relaxation, clients may be able to get better, more restful sleep after treatments. This may contribute to better hormonal balance and a more normal appetite, which will help to prevent further weight gain and facilitate weight loss. Anecdotal evidence and recommendation. Keep in mind that although Reiki may be beneficial to clients who are attempting to lose weight, it will be most effective when used in conjunction with other weight loss treatments. Other weight loss methods that patients may combine with Reiki sessions include better eating habits, increased physical activity, and weight loss medication. Some Reiki practitioners even believe that engaging in Reiki sessions may enhance the effectiveness of each of these other weight loss methods by making clients more aware of their body's nutritional needs, stabilizing their appetites, and reducing unhealthy cravings. So that was the information I could find on International Association of Reiki Professionals. From that little listicle it kind of sounds as if Reiki just helps you sleep better. It reduces your stress. And I think that it's kind of, I don't know what to call it when there's, the question posed of, can Reiki help in weight loss or aid in weight loss? I guess it's sort of like indirectly, yes. In the Reiki video we watched from that TikTok, he said he's this Jesus-like looking figure, white Jesus-looking like figure, forgive me, is saying, okay, we're boosting your metabolism. And I don't know if that's happening. I can't definitively say yes or no. No one can. All I know is that it makes me feel funny inside. And then I wanted to find some information on if there was a real world example of someone claiming to have done this. And of course, there is a celebrity that tried a funky weight loss diet fad type thing. And Women's Health wrote a little article on it, if you can even call it that. There's just a lot of non-information in here, but I thought it was funny and that it would be funny to read with you. So here is an article on Women's Health that was published in December of 2013. I don't know about you. I didn't know nothing about Reiki in 2013. I don't think a lot of people did. So very funny or very cool, whatever you want to call it, that this was being written about and talked about. Apparently, Christina Aguilera, back in 2013, says Reiki helped her lose weight. All right. Christina Aguilera reportedly credits her recent weight loss to Reiki, an ancient Asian practice that's said to heal your body and mind. The theory behind Reiki is that you transfer your spiritual energy to different places in your body, says Mary Vaccaro, a Reiki practitioner at Reiki New York. Most of the time, practitioners do it, but if you're trained, you can do it yourself. The idea is that Reiki increases your entire flow of energy, and when your energy flows more smoothly throughout your system, you're less stressed. So how exactly does this energy transfer work? Let's say you're stressed out. If you get a massage or acupuncture, the masseuse or acupuncturist will focus on a few specific spots where you're holding all of your attention until it's gone. But Reiki is more general. To transfer your energy, the practitioner either holds his or her hands above all different areas of your body or places them lightly on your body. There's no rubbing at all, so it's not like a massage, says Vaccaro. Think of how a parent might place their hands on their baby's head to soothe an ache, she says. It's like practitioners are soothing your stress. It's very relaxing. It's also why Reiki is... And it's also why Reiki is said to help with weight loss. If you read the literature, you know that stress leads to weight gain, says Vaccaro. So if you reduce that one exacerbating factor, stress, you can reduce the tendency to gain weight too. Now, we're not saying that Reiki is a proven way to lose weight. After all, there aren't any studies that verify it actually works, and there are other ways to deal with stress too, like doing yoga or going for a run. But if you're interested in trying out the ancient practice, go for it. Vaccaro suggests Googling Reiki in your city and making an appointment at a nearby Reiki studio. If there's not one close to you, most spas that offer massages also offer Reiki. So you can get it done there as well. Yep. So there you have it. Not much information, a lot of non-information, if you ask me. But I thought it was funny and something different to bring up, to talk about on the pod. The idea of Reiki being an aid to weight loss. I'm out here trying everything I can do, aside from exercise and keeping a low calorie diet, everything I can do to lose weight. And I like Reiki. I've never had an in-person session, but I definitely would love to do one. I don't know. Maybe it's all hocus pocus and it's just in my head and it's just like this major placebo effect. I am totally willing and able and saying it's probable that this is a placebo thing, but I'll take a placebo because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel better. So, there's that. All right. Well, short intro for today. It makes up for the long one that we had last week. And, we're gonna get into it. This week on the podcast, I have the very funny and very talented, former Olympic athlete. And there was a really loud noise outside, and it just threw me off. Okay. Former Olympic trial swimmer and talented stand-up comedian. We talk a lot about what it's like starting your career at a young age, and then all of a sudden you're retired in your mid-20s, and the conversation is just elating. Please, everybody, welcome to the podcast, Laura Sogar. Laura Sogar, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm like nervous.
Don't be nervous. Here we are at the Risque Business News studio that Laura was so kind to offer up for us to use today. So it's a nice departure from the couch in my apartment where there are too many animals. So
got the two cats here today.
Yes, we got two cats here, but they're sequestered in the other room, and they're more gentleman-like than my very, very...
Well, for now, once it hits 10 p.m.
Oh, yeah, and then it's like...
Wild Boys.
Then
it's Wild Boys time.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, yeah, so thank you. I actually have been so excited to have you on and talk to you because you're my only friend ever that I've known to have competed at the Olympic trials for swimming.
Yes, that was so I was a professional swimmer for a while, swam for 20 years, and they let me go to the Olympic trials. Can you believe?
Amazing. So I wanted to ask, when did you start swimming?
When I was 5 years old. Actually, technically before then, but I started competitively swimming at 5 years old.
Okay.
And then I didn't stop for 20 more years.
Do you come from a family of swimmers?
No. My dad swam a little bit in high school, so he knew like the basics of the sport, I guess. But no, my mother wasn't particularly athletic. I mean, she taught like Pilates for a little while, so like, generic, but nothing like competitive. Yeah.
Do you know why swimming was like the lane Oh my gosh. Lane.
You nailed it.
Do you know why swimming was the lane that your parents sort of, because you're 5, you're not making that decision?
Well, oh my God, I actually know exactly why. I like didn't sleep as a kid. And that's apparently very jarring for
I would imagine as such.
My mom was like, we gotta shut this down. Like I would just
Yeah.
lay in bed just like awake.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is weird.
Yeah.
You're a weird kid. Like, we don't like it. And then they noticed when they they took me to swim lessons when I was little, like 2 or 3 or whatever. Like, I don't know, whenever you.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what kids' size
Yeah.
are. When are you allowed to put them in the water?
I think kids get put in the water pretty early because you want them to be like acclimated with it versus afraid of it.
Yeah. Well, I know I did the mommy and me stuff like when I was, I guess, technically 1 or whatever, but that's really just babies being held in the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then from there, I kept doing the lessons, and my parents noticed I was sleeping after I would do the lessons. So they were pretty excited about all of that.
Nice.
And then at 5, I graduated fucking guppy school 3 or whatever, whatever the different classes were called at that point. And they were like, well, she's pretty big for her age, and she's pretty fast in the water. You might consider maybe seeing if she likes swim team.
Nice.
And they did that. And I was very good.
Yeah.
I was very good, very young. Again,
Yeah.
I have a lot of jokes about this. I grew extremely fast for a kid. Like I was way bigger than, I was like, not even on those charts, those percentile charts. I was like, they were like, well, this is it. And you are here.
Yeah, total
You're
outlier.
3 pages down. Okay. Like you would be a big boy. And, but that was very useful for
Right.
sports.
Okay.
So I just kind of kept going, and I like didn't really like it at first, but then when I was winning, I was like, no,
I like this feeling.
this is,
Yeah.
I got this trophy at one of my, like when I was 8, they brought a trophy. I had won like high point or something. And I was
Wow.
like, this is the best fucking feeling.
That's
I was
exciting.
like, I'm in. I'm
Yeah.
100% in. What do we got to do for more of these things?
Amazing. Yeah, that like maybe that's why there are trophies at that level to
I
incentivize
mean,
kids.
absolutely.
keep
I was
going.
like, so no one else got one, right?
Yeah, it's just a me
Just to
thing.
clarify, this is something I earned and no one, all right, I'm definitely doing more of this.
Oh my God. So
I was
like,
so competitive.
so something that older generations say about millennials is that like we all get participation trophies. So what was your feelings on that?
Oh, I mean, nowadays I don't really care. Someone has a
Truly.
joke about this where it's like, who was it? I think it was like Jason Solomon or something like, I hope I'm quoting this correctly because it's a wonderful joke where he's like, millennials went through like 9/11
Yeah.
growing up.
Oh yeah, I know. the
08
joke.
recession.
Yeah.
COVID. Like, give them the fucking participation trophy.
yeah.
Give them the like, you can have it. you
I
know?
remember that bit and remember thinking like, yeah, honestly, we kind of
Honestly.
need it. It's either that or Lexapro. So,
Yeah, exactly. Why not both?
yeah, literally.
So, so now I'm pretty supportive, but at that point I was like, no,
Of course.
I want the trophy.
Yeah.
I want to make sure.
Totally.
My self-esteem is riding on this. So.
Totally. That's so funny. Okay. So it's because you have one sister.
Yeah.
Okay,
She's
and
2 years
so-
younger.
Did she get put into like a sport or an activity at a young age that she like rode that wave on?
Yeah, I always felt kind of bad because she was like fairly normal size, whatever. I also like put on muscle very quickly and have very broad shoulders, and just like the proportions were correct for swimming,
Yeah.
so it worked out really well. She did sports, but it never really like clicked for her.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of, I don't know, she never really got super into it. And I always feel guilty because it was like, oh, I hope it wasn't just because she didn't like, I don't want to compare myself to
Right.
this fucking freak.
This out of percentile bitch.
This weird ass. Yeah. And she's so aggressive. Like, no, couldn't be me.
Okay.
So she's the best.
Great. So she like didn't really have like a sport or like an activity where it was like, I'm doing this.
She did synchronized ice skating.
That's so cool.
It was so cool.
That is awesome.
It was really fun.
I've
Though I
always-
will say, holy shit, those girls are fucking nuts.
Yeah, are they?
Oh yeah, it's like ballet girls, but with like spears on their feet.
Yeah,
you know?
with weapons.
With weapons.
Truly, I always wanted to be like laid on. I was always like a clunky, bulky kid. Just
Yeah.
like my parents always said, I was a bull in a china shop, and so like I always wanted to be like light and airy, like a little figure skater. I always thought they were the coolest.
I exactly agree with you.
Yeah,
Because I was like, just like this weird, like
muscly.
LeBron.
Yeah, tall.
And I was
you
like,
know?
this isn't cool.
All of the things that like make you such like a gorgeous a girl now and like with a great body are things that when you're a teen, you're like, my shoulders, I'm muscular.
Oh my God.
Like
And
you don't like it.
I grew up in Rhode Island, and the boys there were fucking tiny.
Really?
Tiny.
That's so funny. What's in the water in Rhode Island?
I don't know. They're honestly, people there are shorter as a whole.
Really?
Not just Rhode Island, but like the Northeast. Like when I went down to the South, I was like, oh, thank God. Okay, there's some other people that are like
that's
taller.
So true.
It's really,
Oh my
it's
God.
really true.
I come from a tall family, so I never considered that. But
yeah, you're decently tall.
Yeah, I'm 5'8.5", and
Yeah.
I'm the shortest in my immediate family.
Yeah. So, but I was like literally about the same size when I was in elementary school. So like I was really close to the size I am now. I just grew extremely quickly. Probably some fucking hormones in the milk.
Yeah, the hormones in the milk, man.
Over here guzzling chocolate milk.
Something was in the
shooting
water.
like a weed.
Amazing. Okay, so when did the Olympics start to become a realistic goal?
I made my first US Open, which is like part of like the circuit. It's like one of the slower of the circuit though, at 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the general age of people doing that?
Not like probably 16 plus.
Wow. So you skipped some grades in that respect.
Yes. And again, like, I mean, I was just, at that point I'd been swimming for a number of years and I was pretty like interested in, you know, going fast. And like, I had just joined a new team, that was doing pretty well for me. So I was able to go the cut times and I was like weirdly super motivated because I wanted to go to San Antonio, which is where that was. For some, in my mind, I was like, oh my God.
World traveler. That's exactly what I would have
Antonio.
thought. Like the idea of going to San Antonio, like
I was like, so attractive to me.
Yeah, totally. Like anywhere outside of the immediate East Coast would be like, whoa,
I know.
This is crazy.
What's funny now is if you told me I had to go to San Antonio, I'd be like, God damn it.
What the fuck is in San Antonio? I hear that.
A nice river walk, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Our Schlitterbahn's nearby.
Amazing.
So at that point, they knew that I was like pretty good.
Yeah.
Like you don't really know because obviously there's a lot that can happen, but they definitely knew I was substantially above average in the sport and to continue to nurture that talent.
Wow.
And they did.
Cool. So, okay, you get in at 11 and then is it just like going to the, like, explain the process because I have no idea.
Sure. So it's all competitive. It's one of the things I love about swimming, and it's so different than stand-up, is that it's all time-based and extremely binary. Extremely. As long as you don't disqualify your race and you go a time, you qualify for the following competition. So for the Olympic trials, for instance, and for a lot of other of the competitions, they have standards of the times. And once you qualified for that, you were able to go. So I was able to qualify for the trials I went to my first one when I was, the way the years worked, I think I was 16. But I think I qualified like 2 years before then because it's a 4-year cycle for that.
Okay.
And I also got to compete beforehand for a number of different international competitions on like like I would go to like nationals, US Open, and then I got to compete at like Junior Pan Pacific Championships and eventually like World University Games, eventually World Championships.
Wow.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Even when I was doing it, I was like, what are we fucking doing?
So, like, were you kind of like a small celebrity in the swim circle, or were there a lot of people?
In the swim circle, it's a relatively small group. So it's kind of like stand-up, where it's like, people who are like, you know, getting all these, call that credits in your mind.
Fallon or
like, you know, like, oh my God, like they're doing so well. Like you like think of that. So like everyone kind of knows each other, but then it's also like, this is also before social media.
Right.
All this is before social media existed.
Yeah.
Like maybe MySpace.
Well, yeah.
Maybe MySpace. And that was certainly not being used for your brand.
No.
It's like,
no.
Definitely not. Like I was definitely well known in the swimming community, but not, you know, outside at all.
Yeah. It's like how open micers look at like certain comics being like, whoa. Like I remember being like first like a few months into comedy and seeing like comics that are now like my peer because of just how this whole thing works, and being like at the time like, oh my God, like they're at the same open mic as me. Like,
I know
what is happening. You
it
know?
is crazy.
You don't know that, you don't understand the scope of the business, and
it's wild how fast that all dissolves.
I know. Yeah. Crazy.
You just stick around long enough and
that's like one
this
of
guy's not that great actually.
Yeah, like unlike swimming, one of the things with stand up is like never ever ever quit if you feel like you have it, because it's like sometimes you just do this so long, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's success by being there.
Right. And it may be of your own volition.
As long as you're happy, it's like, enjoy it.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
Your life is progressing.
Right.
Don't put everything full pause, just for the record.
Totally. Yeah. That's a good thing to point out.
Yes.
Yeah. Live your life, start a family if you want one, but also keep doing stand up.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
God forbid we have a little fun.
God forbid. Okay. So, what was I going to ask you next? So, that's sort of how that works with the Olympics. So you knew people that went on to the Olympics?
So many.
Almost
Almost all of them.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's a small group. So we would go on like training camps and stuff like that. And like I was part of the national team. Mm-hmm. So the national team is selected from the top 6 times in the country. You get put on the national team. And that allows you access to a number of resources. You go to like you don't have to be on the national team to do this, but those people will go a little bit more frequently to the Olympic Training Center, which is in Colorado Springs. So I spent fucking months in Colorado Springs. The reason is because it's at high altitude.
Oh,
so
right. Okay.
There's not as much oxygen in the air.
Exercise.
So when you're training, your body has to work harder to spread oxygen to your muscles. It literally feels like you're suffocating.
Yeah.
It's
I can imagine.
It's insane.
I had to work harder to drink more in Mexico City.
There you go.
Like,
exactly.
I can imagine.
And once you're there for about 10 to 14 days, your body generates more red blood cells to compensate for that. So you go up there for weeks at a time in order to maximize like how many red blood cells. So then when you go back down, you are like a little superhuman.
Yeah.
You have like that good blood.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So like, but point being, as a result in these camps, like you'd get to know everyone really well. You see people at the same competitions year over year. I started at 5 years old. I went to my first national level competition at 11.
Wow.
There's only so many like fucking times you can look at these people.
100%.
All right. Hey.
Yeah. What's up?
What's going on?
You go to each other's birthdays at like Chuck E. Cheese or whatever.
Yeah. I wish they were like, oh, I live in Wisconsin.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. You're not like competing with people in your immediate. Yeah.
What is cool now though is like now that I'm retired, like I have all these friends in like random ass cities.
Yeah. That's
random
why
ass
you're always going to
cities.
weddings.
And then random ass spots.
Yeah. Wow. So you get to go see a lot of cool places because of these friends. Assuming they, invite you to their wedding or whatever.
I mean, it's definitely widened my friend group to include people from like all over the country.
Yeah.
Like weirdly, like because I was swimming so much, I didn't spend as much time with my high school friends. Like they were wonderful. I just win.
Yeah, of course.
When would I do that?
Life.
So many of my friends are really from like the swimming community.
Wow.
More than that.
That's interesting. So anything we go into that you're like, why'd you ask me that? Or we go into it and you want to cut out, we can. I forgot to mention that. But I wanted to ask you.
Open book.
I wanted to ask you, so in doing all of that intense sounding training, did you when did you get your period, and did you get it every month?
I did get a lot of girls didn't.
Yeah.
And a lot of girls got it really late because we were working. Like when you're working your body so hard at a young age, it can like just be like, we don't have the resources.
Yeah.
We quite frankly do not have the resources.
It just won't go there.
Right. But I was like pretty mature for my age.
Right. Okay.
And not that I hit puberty very early. I think I was like 12 or something like that, which is young,
but I know a lot of people that
it's like not unheard of. It's not like fuck what.
Yeah.
So that's when I got my period, and I got it every month. Like it wasn't really
your period was never placated by like the physical
not
strain.
Really, maybe not notably more than like a week or so, maybe in like high training.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I do know a lot of girls who like wouldn't get it at all.
Yeah,
and they were very skinny.
yeah,
and probably not super healthy. I'll be honest.
Do you think they were faster?
Not necessarily. No, I don't think so at all. I feel like if your body is literally not going through, everybody's different. I'm not a fucking doctor.
Yeah, I feel like I have to say that once an episode. I'm not a doctor.
Coming in here hot with drinking some Prosecco. I'm going to tell you about periods right now. You want to know about periods? I'll tell you about periods.
Take notes.
But I do feel like if your body has stopped giving you your period on a monthly basis, something's up.
Something's up.
It's a tired girl. She's a tired girl.
She needs to rest.
And she might be a little overworked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what's weird is that I have some friends who after like way later would stop swimming, or they changed their training schedule so they weren't nearly as intense. And then they would go through like another growth spurt.
Wow.
And like they would all of a sudden come back with boobs, and you're like, what do you have boobs
What
for?
happened? Yeah.
Why do you have boobs? And they're like, oh, I like ate and like had, you know, a rest,
Yeah.
a good sleep, and I
Yeah.
got boobs.
So my
This is
body
great.
can grow and
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Which like, that's pretty metal.
that brings me to my next thing. So 11 years old, you're like really competitive in this field. So dieting, it's different than like, you know, someone like me who just, you know, I didn't use food as fuel.
Sure.
Whereas in your instance, like how many calories does an 11-year-old need to be intaking, you
A
know, to
lot.
be training?
Yeah, a lot. I would say at that point, especially, like I really was just eating like whatever the hell.
Because
My-
you could.
Because I could. My parents were pretty good about having it be generally healthy. Like they did a good job. My mom's European. She's from Germany.
Oh, okay.
So she was always like, she loved shitting on America.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's her number one hobby.
Does your mom have an accent?
Yeah, I don't hear it, but people say she does. It's very
Oh.
interesting.
So that's a very interesting dynamic when it comes to food because the American diet is so crazy. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
And she was like, why are you drinking milk?
yeah, like that was weird.
Yeah. She would always be like, milk is for baby cows. She was so critical.
Where was your dad from? Or where's your dad from?
He's from Chicago, but
Okay.
like Poland/Russia, that little like,
That's like his family.
weird, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been a couple of generations. So
Got
we don't,
it.
Like we call
So
it
he's like
Chicago.
American.
But he wasn't calling. He was in fucking work. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, totally.
It was definitely not making sandwiches for us.
yeah, exactly.
We were having like
So,
weird bratwurst
Yeah,
sandwiches.
yeah. Mom was
Probably why I was getting my period. This is a lot of
Probably.
a lot of iron in that.
probably, and she also maybe being from Germany and knowing the difference of like what the food quality is there compared to here.
Totally.
Maybe she was like actually buying grass-fed things before that was ever a branding term.
Yeah, maybe not. I won't give her that much credit, but she
Uh-huh.
definitely wasn't buying like sugar cereals. That was her favorite. We would go through the grocery store and she would just shit on everything in the grocery
Okay.
store. It was great. Like, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, well, what isn't? What isn't?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very short list.
Got
But I was
it.
able. My favorite food was tortilla chips,
Uh-huh.
and I was able to get those lightly approved.
Lightly approved. Okay. All right.
So,
what about the corn
chips and
chips? Did
salsa.
she not vibe with?
She didn't like potato chips.
Oh, in general, no
No,
chips.
no, potato chips were bad. Tortilla chips were okay.
Tortilla
We're not
chips.
okay, but like better.
Salsa has a lot of vegetables,
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of thing. Okay.
Exactly.
So, I was very interested in like what your concept of dieting would be because you didn't really ever have to, while you were a swimmer, need to diet to lose weight because you always stayed athletic.
Well, here's the thing. Not when I was 11, right? When I was 11, like I would eat pretty healthy at home. Minus I would eat Nutella. That was like a big,
yeah,
it's from fucking,
very European.
yeah, it's very European. So I would just like gorge myself on Nutella. And then I would go to school and I would like, you know, like I was like fucking fiending
Of course.
for anything junky.
Yeah.
So chicken fingers and Skittles. That was and Dr. Pepper. That was my lunch. What? Yeah. And I was young, so I could.
yeah.
And then, and through high school, that pretty much stayed. But then when you hit college and you start adding a little bit of alcohol into the mix, I was like, oh, I'm getting fat. Despite, not like fat, but like I was like, I'm all of a sudden like not just this like muscly thing because I'm, you know, introducing new ways of eating and stuff like that. I also got very, very sick my freshman year, like very sick. I couldn't eat at all. Like I had a stomach illness where I didn't eat for almost 2 weeks.
Wow.
I was on an IV.
Painful or couldn't keep things down?
It was they never actually I fully identified what the fuck was going on, but basically every time I would eat, it felt like someone was stabbing me in the stomach. It was something to do with like acid of some sort.
Okay.
And I had this procedure done, which like took that down and it helped. So I was able to like recover from it. But I got so skinny from that,
bet, yeah.
like not healthy,
Right.
skinny. And then I was eating so much afterwards to like get that weight back. But
Yeah.
then I had trouble kind of like managing exactly where that new level needed to be. And at the same time, I'm getting older.
Mm-hmm.
So my metabolism was starting to go down. And here's the unfair thing about being a woman is like, it really doesn't matter how much you exercise at a certain point. Like,
Yeah.
like so much of it is hormones and the kind of food you're eating and all other sorts of different factors. Like we were swimming like 4 hours a day and I had teammates who were like, you know, they had like extra weight on
like
them.
hips.
Yes. And they were being told they needed to lose weight. So they would go run for like another 40 minutes. And you're like, what is going on?
And are they being told they need to lose weight because they'll get better times?
Yeah, I mean, swimming is like
more aerodynamic,
super fucking chaotic.
Yeah,
like, let me just tell you, like the premise behind it was like you'd go faster. But I'll tell you something. I know a lot of girls with hips who win world records.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know.
How much is that real?
How much is that just the coach's perception of what? And under kind of, if you look at physics, you're like, okay, well, I can
more streamlined.
Mentally get behind this. But then these poor girls are like killing themselves. Right. So many eating disorders.
Like at what risk?
Right. Also, it's like if you're in a swimsuit all the time, around your team, around the men's team, it was brutal.
You're basically naked.
You're pretty like close enough.
Yeah.
Like you can see anything,
if not naked, bra and underwear adjacent.
Whatever.
That's all a bathing suit is.
Exactly. Like everyone's clocking what everyone's got going on at all times.
Yeah.
And that definitely caused a ton of issues. 100% caused a ton of issues. I was relatively lucky in the sense of going in and through the fucking huge illness that I had. I was, and then I was really fast. And when you're pretty fast, people kind of don't fuck with you.
Yeah.
Too
You're
much.
like, whatever. She's got it.
Let it happen. I had a boyfriend. I had a long-term boyfriend through college, so I didn't really like overly think about this kind of stuff. So I was relatively lucky in that sense. But it was like brutal for these girls. They'd be eating stupid salads after swimming for after an hour in the weight room and then 2 hours in the water, and they'd go and eat a salad.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. Especially because given that time period of like when that was, so much of what societally we think is healthy and good for us is based on what is popular. Yeah. So right now, the number one thing everyone is talking about is protein. Girlies, get your macros up, protein. Like that's, and like there is truth to that. Like when I eat more protein, I feel fuller. Like I even just in how I eat now, I try to focus on there being a good amount of protein in it. But if that wasn't what people were talking about or the conversations that were happening in, when was it, 2010, 2015, whenever this was, girls are just having salads. So did the team have like a nutritionist?
We did have a nutritionist. They were fine. I don't know. I mean, it was a big school. They would definitely do a decent job. I think you have to like really like play with their program. And it's also hard because these girls are like, you're going to school. And like, you want to party on the weekend. Yeah. It's very difficult to have. You only have a certain amount of self-control.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And especially when you're tired, that goes down even further. Yeah. So it's difficult to not have a bag of chips at the end of the night or whatever.
Totally.
But we did have a nutritionist. I actually worked with a couple different nutritionists. Like, so as I got older, I definitely had to play more with my weight. Like I noticed, like I was like, I gotta get super fucking chunky right now. And my coach is pissed. So how do I handle this? I know, whatever. One of the techniques that I really liked was one of my nutritionists told me to try to eat things that were only 8 ingredients or less, and where I know every single ingredient.
Oh,
and like kind of just do that and see how it felt. That was probably my favorite diet that I ever done.
Wow. 8 ingredients or less, and all of the ingredients.
Yeah. And that 8 is like,
give or take.
Obviously, if it's a super lasagna or complex meal, like whatever.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing from that lady's perspective was taking out processed foods, which I'm pretty sure we're going to have some like risque business news on the impact of some of this crazy shit that they're putting in
our food, in our drinks.
Yeah. In the tap water.
There's fluoride in the water, and the frogs are turning gay. This is a departure of what I was asking you, but what's your thoughts on Celsius, the energy drink?
Oh, what's in it? I don't know it.
So I am very intrigued by Celsius because so many people love it, and they've somehow been able to position themselves as a health food item. Like I know people that drink a Celsius and they go to the gym. And my brother was telling me, he's like, I can't imagine drinking a Celsius and then not going to a gym setting because I drink it and then I get this like feeling of, he described it as energy in his chest. It's like it like heats up.
I'm sure it's some weird ass supplement.
It's like a pre-workout.
Yeah, I mean, I've done so many pre-workouts. So I like every pre-workout, like pretty much on the market, and a lot of them are just like stimulants.
Yeah, it's like taking Adderall and going to the gym. Essentially,
it kind of is, and which is I mean, it's not good, but like if your heart can handle that, you just have to be really careful of like your heart.
Literally. Your heart will give out.
So for Celsius, I don't know the details on what's in there, but it'd be like, you definitely want to check out what the ingredients are and make sure dosing is. I have anxiety. I have already, like my mom has heart stuff. I'm like,
it's a lot of caffeine
I would
in those.
not take a Celsius.
Yeah.
I have a small cup of coffee.
I will tell you, I've been saying this and I'm going to keep putting it out there so people can say, oh, Kelly, you did say that. I think in 18 months, Celsius is going to be like how we look at Four Loko now. I think there's going to be like the good
now
Four
I kind of want to try one.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's the best advertisement. I'm like, okay, well.
That'll be like a sketch that we do, trying Celsius for the first time.
Yes.
But I think there's going to be like how there was the before times Four Loko and now there's like the now Four Loko, which is just a sugary drink that sucks.
Yeah.
I think that's what Celsius is going to be.
How good were the before times Four Locos?
God's gift to college students. That was I went to college.
I was the exact right moment. It was like EDM became pop. It was 1 year. What was it, like 2009?
2009, 2010. I was a freshman 2010.
Four Locos hit the market. EDM, probably because of the same reason.
Yeah,
probably
probably.
because Four Locos were on the market. Everyone was like, we need something fucking amped to listen to. EDM hit the scene. I feel like that's when all those like night festivals started.
Yep, with the
like
highlighters and glow sticks.
Yes. Oh my God. It was, I'm sure they were around before, but that's when it became super popular.
Oh yeah. And I went to college in New Jersey. So that was just like that on crack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where did you go to college?
University of Texas.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
and you swam for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was down in Austin and it was a fun school.
What was in Austin. You know Austin before all these hipsters know Austin. You knew Austin when the hipsters were in Austin.
Keep Austin cool.
Yeah.
Weird, whatever. I'm clearly
keep Austin weird.
Keep Austin weird. I was the beginning of the end. When I hit the scene, they were like, it's over.
2010.
Yeah, right. This place is fucking lame now.
I don't think so. I think you were there in the before times.
I was there in the before times. And during my college experience was when Google and Facebook and all of them opened offices.
Okay.
And that was when everything changed.
Yeah.
Because obviously they brought in a ton of like tech people who, I mean, I am one and we suck. Like we're the fucking worst, you know? Like,
no, you're the best. Okay. So, when you swam all through college, so was it like towards the end of college where it was like, okay, the Olympic, like now, when did you retire?
I retired when I was in 2016, so I was 25.
Okay.
And I had gone to 3 Olympic trials. Wow. In 2008, I got 8th place. I have a joke about this too. 2012, I got 4th place. Top 2 make it. And I was like, oh shit, like I'm like really close. Track. This was right before my senior year. My senior year, I won NCAAs and nationals, and like I was like really good. Like pretty good. And then 2016, I went back and I was the favorite. The February of that year of 2016, I went a time that was the number 1 in the country and would have finaled at the Olympics. And then I got 15th at the Olympic trials. It was crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really bad. It's very funny now. Oh my God, I'd be so much worse. I'd be so fucking lame if I'd made it. I cannot
love that perspective.
express to you how much I would suck.
You would just been a little soldier. You would have been a little swimming soldier.
Well, then all of these like really unhealthy habits would have been like, just encouraged.
Fortified. Completely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird. I think in the grand scheme of things, it was a really good lesson for me, but
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, so
didn't go well.
2016, how old were you? You were 25.
So I'd have been swimming. I had graduated 3 years before and had been 3 years. Yeah. And I'd been like working like part-time jobs and doing like random sponsorship shit to support myself until the trials. And then I was like, well, we're done.
Yeah.
We are hard done.
You decided.
Yes, I knew for sure.
You were like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Also it's like, honestly, at 25 as a woman, you're done.
Is that like when you've aged out? Like when you haven't
it's right at the edge.
Right at the edge.
There are definitely some women who will go past and do really well. So like, you know, Godspeed. But the number just continues to dwindle in terms of quantity of people who can. Weirdly, men can do it for a while.
Really? So like,
I hate men.
Men are like doing it, at like 32, 35?
They might get up to that. It's always like at the end of the day, like you're still swimming. So unless you're Michael Phelps,
right.
like what do you?
Yeah. So it's interesting what you just said of like, you know, these unhealthy habits maybe would have been fortified, or they would have been fortified if you did get it and you kept going and like were like in the Olympics. And as I'm talking to you, I'm actually remembering that Michael Phelps has come out and like talked about how he struggled with mental health. There was an Olympian, I think, that had killed herself in the last few years. That was a swimmer. Or I don't know if she was an Olympian, but I know it was a female swimmer that had killed herself. And I remember it being like the talk of the last Summer Olympics.
There is a lot of, I think the last Summer Olympics, a lot of like mental health stuff kind of started coming out of, it's not healthy, like what we're doing. It's not a normal perspective.
It's obsession.
And here's the other thing that people don't realize. It's not like they're doing it for like a banking job where you're making a shit ton of money.
Oh, that's right.
And accumulating they're not making money.
You were making money off of sponsorships, you said.
Like a little bit, but like enough to like support myself through. And I love swimming. I'm very happy I'm glad I did all of that. I had so many wonderful experiences. Yeah, absolutely. It was like just part of my path. But there's definitely an element of it where it was like, it's a bit of an obsession, and unfortunately a lot of people just don't know when to move on or not. And you have to, when you're watching the Olympics, realize that they've put their whole lives frequently on hold. Not everybody. There's certainly the percentage that are able to like pivot and do like, they run a swim school or they coach or they run a motivational speaking tour. And there's like, I don't know, there's the gig economy. There's so many ways to make money off stuff. But then there's the people like fucking this girl who did a couple random sponsorships, had a few stipends and like kind of pieced it together. I worked part-time for a little while, like random stuff like that, that was able to just push me through. And then afterwards I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I need to launch my like the next chapter of my life. And it was really scary. And a lot of people really, really struggle with that. And I am very grateful that I was able to pivot my weird obsessions into stand-up comedy.
Yeah. And not to mention your career.
You're still mentally ill.
You're a girly who is not only a working stand-up comedian, but also a working day jobber.
We've got those day jobs.
Hell yeah, we got those day jobs. And so what did you study in school?
Econ and business.
Okay, like so you were able to use that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, you want me to do sales? I got you.
Yeah, I got you on that.
I got you.
Yeah.
So I went and started I work in cybersecurity now.
Yes. Right. That's right. So you do cybersecurity. I do think that, you know, at a young age, like you picture little 11-year-old Laura Sogar and the path of what you went on, the path that you went on, the work ethic that entails.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Is something.
It's one of those things where if I looked back, I know if I knew how much work it would be, I wouldn't be able to do it again.
Okay, so I have a question on here that is, if you could whisper something to your younger self, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know, it's kind of tough.
I think like enjoy, this is so cheesy, but like enjoy the process.
That's not cheesy at all.
It's really so important.
Oh my gosh.
It's really, and I think I've like continued to try to remind myself that about stand up.
Yeah.
All the time, and work, to be honest. Like if you're not happy, don't get me wrong. There are some people who are like, if I'm not happy 100% of the time, like quit, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And you're gonna have down days.
Right.
You're gonna have Christmas training, like for swimming, where it's like really hard and you want to quit. Mm-hmm. You don't quit then. My parents did a really cool thing. Every season at the like end of the season, right after championships, like, you know, there's like 2 weeks or so until the next season picks up, if you're lucky. And, or it's right away. And they would always ask me, hey, it's time to like sign up for the next year of like, you know, swimming. Like, do you still want to do this?
Wow.
And if I agreed, then I had to do the entire season. Mm-hmm. There were so many times at Christmas training where I'd be like, I'm quitting, like, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, well, you're not. You can in 5 months. So like, we'll table this and we'll come back to it.
Yeah. That's so funny you said that, because I just got a flashback to my own childhood. I did softball from like 5 years old up until high school. And my parents would propose the same thing. It's coming around. You want to do it again? And I always said yes. But when I was in the middle of it, I wanted to quit, and they never let me quit.
I think that's a really good strategy. If I have kids and they do sports, I will definitely do the same thing, because it always made it my own, like, I guess, like I had agency around it. It was my decision to be there.
Yeah.
But they also didn't let me, especially when you're a kid, like, of course you're going to want to quit.
I would stop and start everything.
Of
if
course.
if I had the ability to.
Of course you
I
would.
do it now as an adult.
Yeah, exactly.
Stand up is like the only thing that I've like picked up as a thing and consistently have
kept
done
going with it
for years. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So exactly. So I think that was a really, really good thing that they instilled in me. But one of the things I would like to tell myself is like the memories, like the stuff that I really took away from swimming. Yeah. I literally don't know my times anymore. Yeah. I know like 2 of my times.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit. And I would just like beat myself up about some, and you got to do it to a certain extent, right?
Right. You want to keep progressing and doing
better. But like also maybe like the people I met along the way and the good times that I had and like the going to San Antonio and other places like that, you know, that was like really now the stuff that I look back so fondly on, like the weird stuff in between the accomplishments was like what really made it like a wonderful experience that I'm so grateful for.
Wow. That's fantastic. And I think a really good pearl of wisdom to impart on especially someone younger. I look back on things that were not as serious as swimming to the level that you were.
It's also like not so, it's not. You're staring at a fucking black line.
Yeah.
No one's dying.
Yeah. But you know, people are invested, you know, they're cheering you on. And I look back on my life and I just like wish I could have savored a lot more of the experiences that I've had versus worrying about the outcome of something or stupid boys, you know, just enjoy it.
Opinions.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
Right. If or like one thing goes wrong and like fixating on that.
Yes.
Versus being like, yeah, but also 95% of this went right.
Yeah.
With wonderful people who've worked hard to like help enrich my life and likewise me theirs.
Right.
So
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was life like after the trials when you were like, okay, I'm done. And what was your relationship with your body after that?
Oh boy. Well, out the gate, I was just kind of like, what am I going to do? You know?
Yeah.
And for a little while, I thought I was going to go to like business school or something like that. And so I studied for all the tests, got swiftly rejected for business school. And I was like, cool.
Why do you think?
This is really competitive. I had really good scores, but I, for whatever reason, I only applied to like some of the top schools and like
typical Laura Sogar
fashion.
I
know, what an idiot.
You could have gone to like your state school.
It's so funny because like in retrospect, I'm like, thank God, because I don't think that career, like I don't think that would have been a wise investment of like a lot of money.
Isn't it crazy how life protects you sometimes?
Yes,
that's one of those instances.
I was like, I can't do this.
Life ruining at the time.
Can't do this. Also, it's like, what are you gonna go to business school for if you haven't fucking worked? Like, go work first. Like, understand what are you businessing in?
What are you businessing in? You don't know it until, like, I remember I graduated from college and started working right away. And I
learn what's up.
Yeah. I remember being like, why didn't I work more in college? Like, I'm learning so much now. Yeah. So many things are connecting. My classes would have been completely different if I had worked during that time. Like, in the field. I'm not saying work a side job at a pizzeria to have beer money. I'm saying worked in the field.
Right. Completely. What did you study?
I studied fashion.
Cool.
Yeah, and I worked in fashion for a few years post college.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Talk about a crazy ass industry.
Insane. Yeah.
It's like scary. I'm like, I got the chills.
Why is like the one through line in the industries that we're talking about be that they don't pay any money until you've reached like a crazy level.
Unless you're like a 1%er.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, sorry. We were talking about how what we were going to do. You got rejected from the business school.
So I finished swimming and I'm dating my boyfriend at this point who lives in Los Angeles. So we're dating long distance. I'd lived in Austin for 7 years at this point. I was also kind of like, I don't know what I want to do necessarily. Like I want to like figure out, like get a job of just some sort and something else that I want to do. Like that would be like a more interesting career trajectory. Maybe just try it out. And I was able to, find jobs in sales. Like obviously that's like a relatively, easy.
It's a young man's job.
The young man's job, lower barrier to entry than some of the other stuff that you need like advanced degrees or whatever. And I got an offer in LA and an offer in New York. And Matt lived in LA and we were like, okay, well, should I move to LA? And like we, start living the same state, like have a
Yeah.
relationship together? Or do we both want to move to New York and like both kind of start fresh together? And which was crazy because I'd been dating him for 1 year long distance.
Oh, I didn't realize we were talking about Matt right now. Okay.
Yes. And then we decided to do that. We moved to New York and moved in together.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? Like if I clearly need a shakeup in my life. This is the maybe stupidest thing I've ever done, but like God forbid, you know, if it goes wrong, like, okay,
risk something.
I don't have really that many like assets. What am I losing?
Yeah. I'm
here?
in my 20s.
Right.
This is when you fuck up.
It's when you fuck up. And I had lived such a rigid life up to that point that I was like,
so scary.
Gotta go to New York.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I got evicted.
Oh, you were telling me about that.
Yes, I got evicted right out the gate. Not officially. It's not on my record, but we were subleasing from someone who did not get it cleared. And they were like, you are illegally here and have to leave now.
Wow. How did
crazy.
that get found out?
I don't know. It's New York.
Yeah,
Some,
it's New York. Weird things
Some
happen.
landlord, and they were like pissed about it and whatever.
Yeah. And you know, I gotta say, obviously things worked out. You're still with Matt after all of these years, but I feel like moving to New York is the city where, like, if you do break up with your boyfriend, you can kind of figure it out. Like, it obviously finding a place to live is one thing but I mean, especially with social media now, you can kind of shack up with any, you know, person on findaroommate.com or whatever the case may be.
It's definitely a city for like kind of coming to like just shake your life up, and certainly did that for me.
Yeah.
100%. And started working this crazy ass job for a company that's like fully fraud now. That was wild. Got evicted, all this other stuff. But in terms of like my relationship with my body, I didn't know what to do with it because I did New York Athletic Club for a little bit, which is where I swam for them, but I would never really swim. It was just more of a social scene. Yeah. Which was like New York Athletic Club is like this athletics club near Central Park. It's like this really old. They didn't let women in for a really long time.
Oh, okay.
Like they'd
so
been
like
around.
Why?
Yes, but like extremely expensive.
Okay.
And the reason that I did that was because I got recruited to do it from them. Because the members there like to think that they're competing or like training with like elite athletes. Yeah. Which they are, because we're getting free memberships to do it. You know? Mm-hmm. I don't do it anymore, so I can talk shit about them. It was really fun. It was a really fun experience. Yeah. So I did that for a little while, and I was like, oh, kind of training. Then I was working so much that I like didn't really eat very much for a while. So I was like very skinny again for a bit. And then later on, I like started drinking way more and like eating way more. And then like I just and I'm continuing to have like massive ups and downs. Yeah. And still haven't honestly, I don't think I have like a very healthy relationship with my, you know.
You feel like you haven't mastered it. I mean, I don't really know anybody that has. Unless they've been through like intense eating disorder recovery, honestly. I think we're all kind of winging it.
Totally. I mean, I think I'm comfortable where I'm at right now. Yeah. But call me in 6 months. Right. You know what I mean? Like totally. It could absolutely change.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And so like you work out regularly. How many times a week how many times
I used to work out like every single day.
And
I do think that was really good for my mental health. But I also am the kind of like I put on muscle very easily again because just my genetics. Yeah. And then I was, like gaining weight on top of that. Right. So it was like getting super like, so then I was like, oh, like I want to like lose some of this muscle. So I stopped doing that. And I just would walk a lot. And that's kind of where I'm at now. Minus I'm trying now to introduce some more like strength training a little bit into it. Like maybe like twice a week or something like that. So, and mostly for like mental, like, you know, I do like probably hour and a half of walking a day though. So that's kind of nice.
Oh, that's my favorite thing about New York City, baby. We can walk and walk and walk.
You can.
I love it. And so before we actually were recording this, you were at a solid core class, and you were like,
God.
This is hell.
Yeah, what is going on? Why are we training like Navy SEALs? The women of New York could start an army. Like there's no need to be in that kind of shape unless you are an elite athlete.
Yeah, the stay-at-home moms are ready.
They are like unbelievably fit. The girl next to me, I was like, genuinely, how are you doing this? I have trained more that like I've been with people who have competed at the Olympic stage, and you would be able to finish their workouts. Yeah. Like, why are you doing this? Yeah. What's wrong with you? You need to you need to go drink, have a drink, have a beer.
Well, maybe that's why they're doing it, because they've had a beer.
No, that girl has not had a beer.
Oh no.
No, that girl was.
Oh.
She was. Again, I was like, what? There's no need to be in this kind of shape.
Right.
And I think that's been also interesting for me is like, you know, there's definitely the people who retire from swimming and then like get super into like Ironmans and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And like mentally, there's definitely a piece of my brain that would just be like lock in on that kind of thing and like take off with it. But I think I'm very grateful for stand up in a weird way because it like helped me realize like, I don't know, it's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, be healthy.
Yeah.
Make sure you're healthy, but you don't need to like have six pack.
You have an outlet outside of what was this obsession. Now it's pivoted to stand up, and like sure you could have put the energy into, you know, Ironman things and shit like that, but now it's just kind of in stand up on like a little bit less intense level. But I see the way you work, like producing shows, you know, have multiple podcasts, you know,
we're out here popping our pussy.
Yeah, out here doing it, man. So I think,
trying to make that phrase happen. I love it.
I think it's a great phrase. I love it. Yeah, so I think it's just you've had the ability to channel into lock it into stand up, and your day-to-day career is nothing to shake a stick at.
No, it's a lot of work. I think there's actually like a couple people in stand up who like secretly have like you have like a like we're all like
real job.
Real fucking jobs.
Real fucking
You know
job.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I know, but here's the thing. No one wants to talk about it in stand-up.
I know, never.
No one wants to like brag on their careers. I was talking with Mika Mo over the weekend, and we were like, secretly, in order to like do stand-up in New York, you kind of like have to be like director level at your job. You need to be like doing well.
I could be replaced at my current day job.
Don't get me wrong. We all could be replaced, but you know what I mean.
Level of that. No, like I think everybody really can be replaced, but I have to say I am an asset to my team.
Absolutely.
I am like, I've always been such a hard worker, and you have to be a hard worker to do stand up. You really have to. You get to be a self-starter. Like
everyone has that like loser mentality, they're like, you know, do all that code like from the 80s, that kind of perspective.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they do drugs and drink too much
party.
and like outlay and just road dogs. And I'm like, I'm sure they're still out there.
That's part of the game, honestly, though. Like, we are people that like will have shows and then like maybe we'll stick around for the hang after. And then guess what?
Yeah, you pop your pussy the next morning.
Pop your pussy. You go from popping your pussy at the karaoke bar to the work from home desk.
Exactly.
All within 12 hours.
Work from home does help. Oh, it does help.
Oh gosh, my life changed after 2020. It really did. I have to say, like my ability to manage doing stand up and have my day job. Productivity went through the roof when it was time for us to do work from home. And I think like oh gosh, I mean, not having to commute in and of itself, I mean, huge because I'm leaving the house anyways, even though I do have to kind of convince myself to leave the house sometimes. It was a little bit easier when you went from the office to the bar for shows or whatever, or open mics, but now it's like I have to leave the house, so I'm going to.
Yes.
So I love work from home.
I love it. It's just enabled me to get way more rest.
Yes.
And have, I think, additional years of being able. I do think, I mean, seeing, this is wishful thinking, right? You know, never know how careers are going to go. Yep. But seeing how people who are continuing to grow and like get really good, I don't know if this is sustainable long term.
Oh, I agree.
I do think there's going to be a certain point where it's like, gonna have to be this, if this, then, or like whatever. Yeah. But
I'm excited for that moment because I do think it's going to be a moment. I do think it'll be a thing where all of a sudden you're like, Matt got fired. Really? So he was working, he was trying to do the same thing, like, you know, work remote, like keep his job for as long as possible. And then when he moved to LA, he got fired. So he had to start doing like it all for money. Lit the fire under his ass to be like, this is it. Stream of income.
Yeah. And he's done a great job. Really great job.
Amazing. I mean, I've heard that so much of like, you know, you hear comics like have kids, then all of a sudden they're killing it. And it's like, well, now I have a thing to provide for. So it's just like the thing that they need. Yeah. And so
no shame, no cutesy stuff. You know, you got to like ask for what you're looking for.
100%. And I'm very grateful for my job, and I would never want this to happen. But if I were to ever get laid off, which I actually just survived a round of layoffs recently, which I'm feeling good about. Hell yeah, love that. Cheers. I feel as if I just kind of always had the sense that I will be okay. I will be okay. I'll pull it together. I mean, obviously stand up is I don't want to say impossible, but a very tough dream where, being able to just all of a sudden make your livelihood from it, on a dime is.
There's also, I think, a lot of different ways to look at like making a livelihood off of stand up. It's like, do you want to tour?
Right.
Or do you want to do podcasting? Or do you want to produce?
Yeah.
Or like it's just like anything. Like there's a lot of different like ways to engage in the art form.
Yep.
In a very cool, productive manner. So got to keep an open mind.
Yes.
I'm telling myself.
Okay. So how do you feel about aging?
Skip it.
Yeah. Skip it if you could. Totally.
I mean, I agree. I don't know. I think if I didn't do so, this is the one harsh part about stand up is I do think that it's a bit of a young man's game in some elements, or a young woman's game. How about this? There's the comics who are doing really well as women. A lot of them are older, but they don't look it.
Right. Oh my God.
They really don't. Nikki
True.
Glaser, are you fucking kidding me?
I know.
Really?
And that girl tortures herself. She always is saying she looked old. Her skin is sagging. Like, she's like, I'm going to age out of this.
Unbelievable.
She looks unreal. She is the host of a show called F-Boy Island. Like, you have to be just as hot as the 20-somethings on that show.
Yeah.
And she's out here doing it. I listen to her podcast almost every day. And
she rules.
She rules, man. She's so cool. And
but I hear you. Like, it's like,
yeah,
if like, unfortunately, we've gotten a lot further. There are more opportunities for women like over 30. I hate to say it, but like, it's kind of true.
I have never. Sorry, go ahead.
But it's still like, it's really brutal.
It's brutal. I've never been more aware of the way that I look ever since stand up.
Agreed.
And
it really put me on my head still.
I'm not.
I'm still in my head. I don't know what to tell you. I haven't gotten back out.
Yeah. I'm not even talking about the actual act of getting on stage and having people visually perceive you. I'm not even talking about that. When it comes to people that associate with you, when it comes to people reacting to you on social media, like I remember May, friend of the pod, you guys know her.
Yes.
She was doing a podcast where she was engaged and she was wearing a black turtleneck, and she's an engaged woman at the time. Set to be married, and someone commented, aren't you supposed to be losing weight when you're engaged to be married? And it's May. It's fucking May. Like, she is thin, okay? She's beautiful, like,
either way, it's people feel like they can say whatever they want, and they can.
Yeah.
And it's like mostly you needing to be able to react to that. And I realized I was mentally weak around this stuff.
I am not a soldier that I thought I was.
I did not. And I was honestly, like, I definitely have gotten a couple of those comments where everyone was like, Laura's gained a bunch of weight. And I'm like, yeah, man, I went on Lexapro for fucking 2 years.
I'm trying to like get better mentally.
Yes.
Sorry, that's like,
sorry, my ups and downs.
Atrocity to
Listen
your
to my
eyes.
words. And they're like, we don't want to do that.
No.
We hate when you speak. We hate it.
Even putting this podcast as a visual medium, which I know it just was like integral to the success of it, I was terrified. I'm like, I don't want to have to be putting myself on the internet visually.
But it was crazy because even when I've gotten like nice comments, I've gotten mean comments, and I was almost ashamed with how much they impacted me because I always considered myself, a feminist.
Right.
And like, I've done all these things. I value my accomplishments. I don't value what I look like. That's obviously wonderful to continue to nurture, but it's not who I am. And then I was like, that hurt way more than I'm proud of when they said those things.
Yeah, no, I mean, I literally go to sleep at night listening to either a positive affirmation track or...
I do love a positive affirmation track.
Well, I'll tell you why I do that. And I'll try to listen to stuff that like, I am more than my body, all that kind of stuff, because I do agree. Like I, in my head am this feminist that like I am more, my accomplishments are more than what I look like. But what actually is produced by the, mush inside of my head is something far different. Like I do not have the ability, as of currently I'm working on it, to see a disparaging comment about myself and be able to like have it not feel like I've been shot in the chest.
Yeah.
It's really
like I
hard.
literally would rather you hit me.
Literally, I would rather you take down who I am as a person than come at me with the way that I look.
And what the fuck is that? Where does that come from?
And it's been present my entire life.
And I'm not smart enough to be able to tell you where it's coming from.
No.
Because it's weird because my parents, like, they were supportive. They were they were very like, they make a couple offhand comments on occasion, but like, it was always like, it wasn't, I really can't say it was from them. That kind of stuff.
I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know. It's, I think it's societally. I think that there's a lot of things that we don't realize our subconscious is taking in.
And to be fair, I actually don't think that it's like our subconscious being wrong.
No, I don't think, no.
Because I do, was reading a couple studies recently where, there's obviously the weight component, which can lead into what people think, but there's plenty of like bigger women and bigger men who people still consider very attractive.
Oh yeah.
Obviously. Mm-hmm. And attractiveness is, there was a study that came out that like, if you're considered unattractive, they got paid something I'm making this number up because I don't remember the exact, so double check this, but like it was something in the magnitude of like 15% less than attractive people. Yeah. And like think about that over time with promotions and stuff like that. There's a significant financial loss to being unattractive, which is a part of the reason, like it, you can kind of get there, at least if you like take care of your image, which does require investment out the gate. Yeah. I've definitely cited these facts when Matt's like, why are you spending so much money on this? And I'm like, listen, studies show that I'll make more money if I do. So
that actually brings me to my next thing. So what is like the most bizarre wellness thing that you've done?
Oh, like every Instagram targeted ad. Here's the other thing. I used to get drug tested all the time.
Oh, for swimming.
Mm-hmm. To see if you were on this like a banned substance list, whatever. And that was a very wide list. You had to be very, very careful about like pre-workouts, supplements, anything like that. Now I'm on no lists.
Yeah, no.
And if someone tells me it's gonna be a good thing and it's like from a like semi-reputable source. Mm-hmm. Paris Hilton or someone's backing it, I'm gonna take it for a little bit.
Isn't that
so dangerous?
Like, the dangers in that, I believe in people making their money, and for me, when it comes to celebrities, because I am someone that like loves Paris Hilton, like
just throwing her name out there, not saying her specifically.
Insert any Kardashian, whatever. Insert any celebrity name. Nikki Glaser.
I take the shit out of her supplements.
Literally, like, because I trust them, and so I want to make I want to make sure. It would be nice that if the things that they are like giving us a promo code to is the things that they actually take and like are saying that they get these benefits of.
Right. Well,
that's definitely so important.
So unfortunately, I don't think that's a thing that's happening.
Well, I think it's gotten better.
Hopefully. At least they do have to like tell you it's an ad and stuff like that.
I think on the lower level, like when we look at like TikTok influencers, which how many people, legitimately, how many people can be an influencer? There's all of us.
You know what's funny? The biggest influencers in my life are micro influencers, aka my friends.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Like if a girl in the group chat, like I have a couple of my swimmer friends, and when one of us does something, we're all doing it.
Oh yeah.
We're all doing it.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
Totally. That's funny. And so something we can end on. You're a supplement girly.
I do like some supplements. I also think some of them work.
I will tell you. I've started taking 2 supplements because of you.
Which ones?
The only supplements that I have gone on my own volition to start taking is Nutrafol for hair growth. Yeah. Because I had COVID back in July of 2022. First and only time I had COVID, and the hair loss after the fact was gnarly. Yep. I tried Googling it. I've talked to doctors about it, and people are like, I don't know. I haven't heard that. I had one doctor say, yes, there are significant hair loss, but
we're not going to have any data on this shit for 10 years.
And so
just take Nutrafol.
I was like, and
it helped?
Writing this into my budget. Yes.
Good.
I have been taking Nutrafol. I'm about to run out of my current stash right now, and so I don't know if I'm gonna re-up it, but like I have like a bunch of new
hair
growth
looks great
here. Thank you. And I've always I've always prided myself on my hair. I've always had a really thick mane, but it was enough where I noticed I'm like, this is not the same hair that I've had my whole life, So on my own volition, I've taken Nutrafol, but in our group chat that we have with May, she mentioned something about like being in a bad mood, and you were like, get your B12 up, girl.
Yes.
So you mentioned B12 and D3, and I immediately went on Amazon and bought
And
them.
they're so cheap.
They're so cheap, and I take them every morning. I have my
Oh my God, I love it.
I like
the other one. Can I give you another one?
Yes,
it's also cheap.
I'll write it
Fish
down.
oil.
Fish oil. Okay, so Joe used to take fish oil a ton, and I didn't like the way it made him smell.
There's different versions of it that have like no odor or whatever the hell.
Okay.
I'm like big into like the biohacking stuff. Like I like follow those subreddits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I find it very, very interesting. And I've read a bunch of books on this. So fish oil was one of the ones that like I would probably highly recommend for most people because it's got a lot of the omega-3s that help create white matter in your brain. Oh. So when you're learning, oh God, we're going into science here.
No,
this is
I
where we're
want to know
sciencing.
all about it.
And I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to spread misinformation. It's my favorite thing.
There's going to be a little banner
Massive
on the video.
banner at the bottom, just like, don't listen to this bitch. Do not. But fish oil, so like when you're learning something in your brain, you have like the two different areas of your brain, and learning how to knit or some shit. It's those areas creating a circuit between them, use brain words, and the circuit like has electricity go between those two areas, and then you learned a new thing, right? That's how you know how to now knit or whatever it is. Now, in order to make that, they basically like a wire, it needs to have this, I think conduit might be the right word, but this like casing around it to help the electricity not like dispel.
Got it.
In that, it actually goes from one spot to the other quickly and easily and not lose the charge through it. And white matter is what allows that to do it. If you are a scientist and you're listening to this, you're probably like, you're so wrong. But point being, fish oil has the components that help you make that.
Okay.
If you don't have enough of them, it's harder for you to learn.
Okay.
And I swear to God, like when I was like training a lot and like working a lot and really trying to learn a bunch of new stuff, like in school, I would take fish oil and I really, maybe it's placebo effect, but I can't recommend this placebo effect more. It would really make me feel like I was able to like learn easier.
Yeah. I find I have trouble with my memory, and I think that I've been like looking for so many different ways.
It's also cheap.
Yeah.
When people are recommending stuff that's like easily accessible and like relatively cheap, then I usually start listening because I'm like, you're not making money off this.
Right.
When they're like, well, it's $120 a bottle.
Yeah.
And you only get it through my referral code. Then I'm like, okay, well,
what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you're trying to sell me a crystal or something.
Totally. Versus is like you can go to Kroger.
Yeah.
Go to, like Stop and Shop. It's there. It's probably like buy one, get one 50% off.
Totally.
Like that's every supplement ever has been that way.
Amazing. Yeah, totally. So, okay. So fish oil I should add to my D3 and B12. And B12 I take because I joke with my boyfriend in the morning. I'll be like, I got to take the pill so that I'm less mean to you. Like, because it'll supposedly put me in a better mood,
energy.
Helps my brain function.
Vitamin D also is huge for that. And
Vitamin
especially
D.
in the Northeast, most people are low on it.
I've heard that.
Mm-hmm. I got it tested earlier this year and they were like, you have none. What's going on?
Whoa.
Are you good? They gave me a shot on the spot.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was it was literally January in New
yeah,
York
true.
City.
That makes sense.
So I like hadn't seen the sun.
Yeah.
And they were like, we can tell.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you go to like a homeopathic doctor or like a...
So I started going to this like health spa kind of group, and I basically get like vitamins and like IV stuff from them.
Okay.
Again, I'm like pretty into like biohacking shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. But I have definitely noticed that like by doing some of those like different, the IVs, the shots, and I do like cryotherapy, which is probably a crock of shit. But I like
Cryotherapy
it.
is cold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Where you go in and it's like all the, I think it's like liquid nitrogen or something that they use to cool the air to like, I don't know, negative something degrees. You're only in for like 3 minutes and you get really, really, really cold. And more than anything, it just kind of like zaps your brain and you're like, I'm up. And it puts you in a good mood.
I have to tell you, the one time I've done a cold plunge,
yeah,
I went to Bathhouse in Williamsburg for like a spa day, and they had a cold plunge pool. And I was like so scared to go in, and I was looking at it all day because I was there from like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Circling it.
Oh yeah, literally. And finally, I was just like, just hop in. And so I just jumped in because I can't like walk in. I have to jump in. I jumped in. I sat in there for, let's say, I don't know, 2 minutes. And I got out and walking into that wet sauna. Oh my God, that was amazing.
It's
like I felt like awake. I felt alive.
Yeah.
I was watching this show where this guy goes to Iceland. He's like on a search for happiness. So he goes to all these. It's actually Rainn Wilson from The Office.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I love Iceland.
Well, I've never been, and I that's why I turned on the show because I'm like, oh, I love Iceland. I want to check this out. Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
He was like, there was a portion of the show where he was gonna go with a group of women into like, you know, plunge into the ocean, and he's like, I don't want to do this. Like, why am I doing this? He was like mad at himself for you know having to do it, and then he goes in and comes back out, and he's like, all right, I'm ready to go back in. That was fantastic.
Aww.
So yeah, so I do think there is something to cryotherapy, even when it comes to like circulation. That in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, people used to say it was good for like your muscle recovery and stuff like that. Even if that's not true, I do kind of enjoy the impact of like just
I can like
the
clear
mental
my sinuses.
the mental clarity that comes from it. And they also have like the LED light or the red lights and stuff like that,
right?
Which are supposed to be really good. I have no idea if those do anything, but it feels like you're just laying in the sun for 20 minutes. You're like,
feels like a tanning bed almost.
Yes, but it's not bad for you.
It's not bad UV rays.
Correct.
Okay, so what supplements, if you know them offhand, do you take regularly?
I kind of depends on what I'm like feeling like. So those ones are pretty consistent.
Yeah, the fish oil, the B12.
The vitamin D you can take too
D3.
much of, which you probably won't get to. But
I just take one pill of each of these.
Yeah, that's 100% fine. You could probably do more than that, but it's all good.
Yeah.
And then obviously vitamin C and those kinds of ones like that. I have been doing NAD recently.
NAD.
That is, I couldn't honestly explain to you
how
it's supposed to work. But there's this doctor that I love. Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. I think it's Dr. Sinclair. And he does all this like age, like treats age like a disease that you can treat. It's very interesting. So check him out. And he talks about NAD being potentially this thing that can help that you lose as you age.
Okay.
So something that could be supplemented. It's very early stage. It's very woo-woo. I wouldn't be like, if you're doing that or fucking feeding your family.
Right.
Like feed your family. You know what I mean? But if you, I don't know, if you want to try some bullshit.
This is very much disposable income.
100%. Treat it like a hobby.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Cool.
I think it does some stuff.
Nice.
And then, it's kind of like the core ones, I would say. Iron. Most women are low on iron.
I've heard. Yeah.
Most women are low on iron.
Another perk of
Take
being
an
a
iron
woman. Nice.
Pill. It's, again, like $4. Like,
yeah.
For like 100. Like,
yeah. I know so many women that are anemic. So many. Cold bitches.
Yeah. We're all anemic, and then the men all have low T.
Yeah.
What's up? What happened?
And we all have high T.
Yeah. What's going on?
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Any parting words for our guests? I mean, for
this was so
audience?
fun. It's all a bunch of stuff that I like talking about too.
I was so excited to talk to you. I was really excited to
you.
learn about this swimming stuff. It's something I've always known about you, but like, I don't know, when we're sitting having wine, we don't really
like,
chat about it.
Tell me about your childhood.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me about this, major part of your life.
Yeah.
But amazing. It's been a pleasure to have you. Where can people find you?
I mean, on the classic, the social media, and I actually don't TikTok yet. I should, so maybe find me there. But just my name, Laura Sogar on Instagram. And then I have a podcast with May Planner, who we've referenced a couple times in the pod, where we talk shit about the business world, risque business news. It's great. It's really a lot of misinformation.
It's so funny. I love catching it. Watch the YouTube. You get to see this beautiful studio. Thank you for letting me crash in your
God,
studio.
of course. It's great.
This is amazing.
So fun.
And until next week. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.